Welcome back everyone. So this is my new Skyrim Anniversary Edition build, Dularz The Warlord. Not sure on the pronunciation of that. It is like an orc name. I went onto a website and did the name generator sort of thing. But bigger news than my build is I've been fooling around with making mods. And it is only in the works, but I've finally figured out how to get it to work so I can test my mod out. And I have currently turned my current build into an NPC in my game. Next step is turning that into a follower. Obviously, the next part from that is going to be the next thing, and then obviously I'm going to have to learn to port that over onto console, which I might actually end up, depending if how I can do it, or if I can, I actually might, since I do all my mods on console, port it to console first and then release it on PC. Not sure yet at all, as is, because that will be, as is, it's in the works at the moment. Only thing with that is obviously, you know, I can do my own little trailers and such for my characters, because obviously seeing these are going to have my builds. I have no idea how to build a follower yet. I've just done the NPC, so I don't know exactly how different that's going to be. Hopefully I can pretty much have everything like I have in this build in the actual follower. So it will be cool and interesting for myself, but as is now I can do my own little videos on those, on my followers / my follower builds. And you know, they'll be able to fill in time as well if I'm working on those. I can do a quick little video of, you know, this is what's happening currently, where I'm up to, and yada yada. But anyway, now that that's out of the way, the news about that, this is my build. I'm not going to keep saying the name either, because I don't know if that's how to pronounce it right, or anything. But anyway, so for the equipment, so we've got 4 weapons. You'll want I can't remember how to say it or pronounce it, but it is the Warhammer from the Civil War pack. Is you're going to be perhaps your end game weapon. Your other Warhammers you will be using is the DawnGuard Rune hammer, the Champions Warhammer, I can't remember what else that's called, and Volenrun, something like that. It's either Valenrun or Volenrun, either other. So again, the one from the Civil War, that's kind of going to be your end game sort of one. So with the Rune Guard hammer, that is more not actually to use as a melee weapon, so to speak, but it's more for if you're in a large crowd of enemies, you can just keep hitting down a rune, and that's what I perhaps use that for. The Volenrun, that's not your starting weapon, but it's what you want to go for after you've started the game, or what. Although I can't remember if you need to be a certain level for that or not, but either way. And then the Champions Warhammer that you get, you can find that over at Soul Sign. You do a few quests for the Wizard. Going through that quest, just do some things, you'll meet him, and then you'll find that, and then obviously the DawnGuard stuff you'll be able to find. So your base, or your kind of starting armor, obviously is whatever you can get your hands on at first, but it's got to be heavy. But after that, you want to be going for the Orcish plate armor. So that's going to kind of be your beginning armor. And then sort of late game, you'll be going with the ebony plate armor. But you'll be also having then, that's going to be, well, the ebony plate's going to be your mid game. And then late game, now I don't have footage of all of these either, but you'll be using the Ebony Mail as your main chest armor. You'll be keeping the boots and gauntlets if you want, if you find either Daedric or Dragonbone, but probably keep it Daedric or keep it anything, either Ebony or Daedric. You want to keep it as for the sword for the theme. And then you're going to be wanting the Jagged Crown. Now, I know what people are probably thinking, you can't have the Jagged Crown, but you can. There's videos all over the place of how to keep the Jagged Crown. But if you're wanting to know how to, don't do it like me and stuff up. Because what you meant to do, because what I accidentally did was join the Stormcloaks, but I was meant to join the Imperials. More on that later. But pretty much whatever side, you don't want to double cross the side. You want to, if you want to go this, you want to go with the Imperials in the beginning. You reverse pickpocket it, even though it says 0%. You reverse pickpocket it a heap of times, and then soon later it will transfer over to Hadvar. I think it's Hadvar, who's the Imperial one. So you reverse pickpocket onto him, and then you'll find him later on, and then you can take it back, and then boom, that's how you get it. And so with that, you want to be wearing the Dragon Priest mask that you get after collecting all the Dragon Priest masks. I can't remember what that was. It's the one with the horns. I love the look of it. It is pretty cool. Too bad it didn't have all the enchantments of all the other masks on that one, but oh well. So with that, what you need to do to be able to equip them, I don't know if it still works. I didn't test it because again I wasn't able to get the Jagged Crown, just because of my little stuff up. Because there's this build's been in the works for like, well, my last build's like over a year ago, so this has been in the works for over a year, pretty much. just sitting there, not doing anything much with it, being busy with everything else. But so I believe you have to equip a Dragon Priest mask, and then the crown, and then the one with the horns on the face is how do you equip that one plus the crown. If not, you can do the beast form or vampire lord form trick, where you talk to a follower as you transform, and then you can get into and all that stuff. So for skills. Now, some of these are a yes and no to a certain degree, but you'll understand why soon. So, Restoration, obviously, because you're going to be in the midst of the battle, pretty much. That's your kind of going to be your playstyle. Obviously, is your heavy armor, heavy weapons. You do a lot of damage. So you want your Restoration. Then you want Alteration. Now, I know again, why do you want Alteration? For two reasons. So for the Alteration, you'll be wanting to, well, actually kind of for one reason, but yes, technically two. You want a high Alteration so you can get Ebony Flesh, although that comes under the spells later. But anyway, so you want your Alteration mainly to get the perk, the Atronach perk in that. You absorb, I think it's either 20 or 25% of magic incoming, and there's a reason for that later as well. Enchanting is a maybe. I thought I could actually enchant my weapons with sense that I got the double enchantments, but you can't do them with the weapons I have. I found out if you are going to use any other weapon, like if you're wanting to use like a Daedric Warhammer at times, put the vampire effect on that, so you can obviously keep your health up. Smithing, obviously, so you can craft better armor and obviously improve what you have. Heavy armor, same thing. You're wearing heavy armor. Pretty much get anything and everything in that. There isn't very many skills in it, let's face that. Now, block is a half and half scenario with that. Only because with block, you occasionally, I use it for, there's a perk in it that makes it so if you're blocking as someone's doing a power attack, you can do, it slows down time. I use that so it's like you can shield, you can weapon bash them and then do a power attack. That's the sort of thing for that. And then obviously again, two-handed for your Warhammers. And then destruction is, again, that's a maybe. Destruction is only if you want to use the Rune Hammer. So if you don't want to be using the DawnGuard Rune Hammer for the... I'm thinking now, just had a memory blank. The Rune that it does, then don't worry about it, because obviously you're not going to be leveling it. And then talking about leveling, so whenever I do these, I'll be doing like every 5 levels to make it sort of easy in a sense, instead of like I've seen a lot of people do, like, you know, at such and such level you want to have your stats at yay or nay amount. So that's why I just do it every 5 levels. And so for mine, it's, so every 5 levels you want 1 Magicka, 2 in the health, and then 2 in the stamina. Now again, these can obviously vary depending on what you want. You don't want to put any more than 1 in the Magicka though. Now if you're going to change it up at all, you'd be doing like 1 Magicka, then say 3 health and 1 stamina. Or unless you want to cap your magic at a certain amount, because you will, a few of these of the effects and such will give you increased magic as well. And so for the standing stone, talking about magic, you're going to want to go with the Atronach Stone. Perhaps the basic stone in the game besides the ritual stone. Let's face it, everyone, the Atronach Stone works for near enough to every single build out there. You know, it does like the 50% more magic, or for 50% magic absorption, plus with that 25 or 30% that the perk does. You know, you'll be what's that? It's like nearly 80% of it you'll be absorbing, or 80% chance to absorb the magic. So it is amazing, especially for a you know, for a warrior when you got those mages and such throwing magic fireballs and stuff at you, and dragons. So that's why I'm going for that. And this will probably be like a very standard stone for my builds, because as is, I love the Atronach Stone. You know, again, you're an archer, you know, or unless you're a stealth archer, you probably won't need it as much. But then what are you going to use? Let's face it. But you know, again, if you're a light or heavy armor, you know, you're going to be able to use it. If you're a mage, you can use it. You know, whatever you need, you can use it for. And so for powers, you only really use 2 powers in this. Now, the first one is Beast Form. Okay, and as I'll get into backstory, later. And Berserker Rage. Now, Berserker Rage, you use this when, well, you got 2 options to a degree when you want to use this. Either just as you start the battle, or halfway through it. Obviously, not going to use it at the end. But you know, or unless you choosing to take on a boss, and that's where you use it. And then for spells, there's again not very many spells. There's only like 2 spells classes that you're ever going to use, which are the flesh spells. Obviously, your end game one's going to be the Ebony Flesh, and then healing spells. I think it's Closing Wounds, I think, is the best healing spell. I'm not quite sure on that, but yeah, that's what I've been using. So for shouts, again, not a lot of stuff. It's, you know, kind of more focused around the melee and heavy armor, but there are still some magic stuff here. So for shouts, you've got Dragon Aspect. Now, the reason why I have this, because again, if you don't know what Dragon Aspect does, is once your health gets, I think, to 50% or 25%, a ancient dragon warrior will appear and help you in combat, which is just awesome. Slow time to help for when you're wanting to obviously do your, or slow time to be able to get that sort of upper hand. Slow time plus Berserker Rage, amazing. And neat little trick I learnt with this, actually, if you do Dragon Aspect and then do Beast Form, you'll have a orange werewolf, and not only that, you will still get that effect in Beast Form, so it's amazing. Then you want Soul Tear. I use really Soul Tear because that has like a really long reload sort of thing on the shout timer. I use that on bosses, and or if you have something that's already low health, because that reanimates the dead as well. So you kind of are in the, you're not really using the conjuration, but you know, you're full on battle sort of thing. So every little bit helps in it. And then obviously Unrelenting Force, just for that back up everyone sort of thing. And then factions, the main factions you want to go with, well, you have to kind of go with, is the Companions and Imperials. And kind of honoring it, Mary mentioned, I suppose, would be the College of Winterhold. I suppose because you kind of do have to complete the storyline to be able to get the mask and that. If you don't want to get the mask, you know, just use any of the Dragon Priest masks, not the one with the horns on it. And then in terms of followers, you know, you get whatever you want. It isn't, I wouldn't say you're classified to any. I would say Vilcus or Varkus, whichever one, because I think one's a two-handed weapons one, and then one's the heavy armor one. Optionally, if you want, which I kind of think it would be good, especially for a bit of backup, is Jessica. She's the dark elf you can find at the Drunken Huntsman in Whiterun. She's like an assassin sort of character, but I think she kind of works with it as well. So sort of backstory with this is pretty much, again, for one bit of lore, is you know, you're once, we'll end this with the beast form, that with this. So when you were younger, you stumbling now. Trying to remember what it's called. Whatever it's called, the werewolf disease. You pretty attracted the lichen disease, and then the stronghold, orc stronghold that you were in, threw you out because of it. And then obviously you make your way to Skyrim, and there you go. That's that's perhaps the very basics of this. You know, you contracted the werewolf disease. I know it doesn't make sense obviously when you get into Skyrim you don't have it, but anyway, but yeah, you know, you got it, and then, you know, for whatever reason you can have it, you know, you lost it, but then you get it back again at the Companions. But yeah, that's why you got kicked out. You traveled to Skyrim, and that, and you get caught, and there begins your story. So I hope everyone has enjoyed this. A lot shorter than my last one. These are sort of how I'm going to be going. I might make this into a modded build. I probably won't. And yeah, as is the mod I'm going to be, or as is the mod I'm doing, there's like a whole heap that I need to learn still. But you know, it is in the works, so you know, if other videos are low, that's literally why. Is just because I'm working on the build. So yeah, if mods, if video production is low, that's literally why. And then as is, I'll probably do updates and such. But anyway, hope everyone has enjoyed. And yeah, I do have some other ones. Actually, I do possibly my next one. This for anyone who has made it to the end of the video, and is still watching. Congratulations, and hi, how are you? So my next build is going to be, well, maybe not my next build, but one of my builds in the works is going to be like a Viking samurai type thing. So there is going to be one-handed and two-handed weapons in that. Light and heavy, I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do yet in terms of outfits. But I want to know what race would work for a samurai. I want to know everyone who does this makes it to the ends of this. What your opinion is on what like what race would work well for it. Because I don't know I personally don't know what race to go with. I'm not going to go with an orc again. Because I've actually already got another orc character in the works as well. I've got a few in the works. And that, but yeah, for this sort of vampire samurai sort of one, I haven't got this at all. I haven't began this. I just don't know what race to go with yet. But yeah, just leave it in the comments, and hope everyone has enjoyed, and see everyone next time.